Hi there, I'm Budda and you're watching Dr. Guitarist Show for all you guitarists out there. In today's episode, I'm comparing three pedals, being that one of them is the King of Tone, so I'm giving you two great alternatives to the King of Tone. If you have been watching the show, you know the King of Tone is one of my favorite pedals, one of my favorite overdrives. I actually own two and I'm on the list for the third, but it has a huge waiting list. So I have here one pedal that claims to be an exact replica with some improvements made by Russ Effects. And if you have been watching the show, you know I love Russ Effects pedals. And then Janis from Latvia built me a double MiA Next. The MiA Next is probably one of my favorite overdrives at the moment. And now I have the same setup as the King of Tone. Two overdrives put together in the same box. But first of all, let me thank my dear patrons for supporting the show. And of course, if you want to become a patron yourself, you're very welcome. You just go to the link and follow the steps. Super easy. And you'll be getting early access to episodes, free video lesson every week, a free backing track every month. And of course, my huge thank you because you're keeping the channel going. You can also contribute to the tip jar. And if you're interested in guitar lessons with me, just send me an email or a direct message via Instagram or Facebook. Also, please visit my website and my reverb.com store where I have some of the gear I review here in the show, but I can't afford to keep. Let's go! Before you ask, I'm using my trusty Nags, and if you watch the show, you know this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite guitar of all. I'm using my trusty lava cable retro coil. Actually, I'm setting it here. And this cable tames a little of the high, which I like. Going into the Lone Star Mesa Boogie Lone Star with a 4x10 and the 2x12 speaker mic'd with a Biodynamic M160 and the Nessie Electronics Ribbon mic R1 mic going into Pro Tools. Let me show you my clean tone. So it's clean as clean can be. How I use my King of Tone, it's very simple. I use it as factory, as it comes factory default. So I have my right side of the pedal being an overdrive and the left side being a cleanish boost. So I usually use my King of Tone as my main overdrive and it's very reactive to my playing. So if I play gentle, if I dig in, just for you to have a listen, this is my clean tone. King of Tone. So it's almost more a compression thing than actually an overdrive. It overdrives. If I'm going to the bridge pickup, this is my bridge pickup clean tone. It's on the verge of breakup with the King of Tone. So what you notice is that it's not a lot of distortion. It's kind of in that breakup point, but I love the playing thing of it because you can blues it up. And then if you want a solo, you can kick in the second side and pair it with the first one. And I've used this as my channel switching because I played that Marshall over there. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's a review on it. The Marshall Super Bass or my Twin Reverb. I played them a long time on stage, so no channel switching amp. So my drive section was this. King of Tone going into the pedal, always on, and it was my clean sound, so my bass sound, my basic sound. If I wanted more drive, but it can also work. The clean side is also kind of clean boosts with a little compression. So almost the distortion you're hearing or the drive you're hearing is the amp giving up and overdriving a little. So it's a great tool to have because you can use, as I say, this is a 4-channel amp. 1 amp clean, 2nd channel King of Tone on the right side, 3rd channel both on, and 4th option is the clean amp with a clean boost. So you have a lot of options here and you can cover a lot of tones. That's why I love double pedals, twin pedals with twin controls. So these 3 here are just great. They are a little different from each other. So let me go through each of the right channel, and I presetted them kind of the same. The Janis MiA has a switch in the middle for, it says it gives it a little more dry, but what I feel is that the left side is a little more compressed, the right side is a little more transient. So I set them almost the same, just the difference being the switch, because it gives me a little more peak attack. So let's go from King of Tone right channel, then Janis right channel, then Russ Effects right channel. Neck pickup. Okay, now they are kind of similar because it depends a lot. The knobs are not in the same position as you can see because the pedals are different. So in the case of this Russ Effects, I have a huge complaint. The knobs are completely invisible. You cannot see where they are marked because they are shiny. I would put different knobs in it because then I could see better. But let me check. Okay, so this is at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. This is kind of at 9 o'clock, 9 a little more, and this is at 3 o'clock. So very different settings than the King of Tone, but the sound is kind of similar. There's a difference in the mid-range, and I'm not going deep into the gold sounds, but it has a lot of tweakable options, a lot of things inside, but it would be too tweaky for this comparison. What I want to feel is that if you don't want to get into the waiting list of 2.5 years that Analog Man has for the King of Tone, and you want a great double pedal, these 2 are incredible options, being a little different from each other, so you might prefer one to the other. And I'll tell you in a minute what I think. So the King of Tone, I think, is very neutral, and there's a reason why this is a classic. I love it. It's very neutral. It's not a coloring, it's not a Tube Screamer-like effect. It's a better sounding pedal. So you click in and you sound better. That's how I feel whenever I play it. So it's sounding great, the Lone Star. And you kick it in. They feel a little different, but they are very alike. And great pedal. It's a very sensitive pedal to the knob. It has a lot of sweet spots. So sometimes you just move it a millimeter to the right and it changes completely. It blooms completely because you need to hit the threshold. Usually, and you cannot see it, but I use some rubber rings under the knobs so I can set them, and it's not easy to change them by accident. You really need to step in and force it. So they are stiffer, so I can keep them like this, and I don't change it in my pedal board. And I do this to all my pedals. So let's hear the MiA's Next, to me, has a little more bass, and in the left setting is a little more compressed. So it adds a little tone to the sound. I think it makes it sound fatter. It sounds bigger, a little more bassier, which can be a problem if you have an already overdriven amp. So if you're playing an on the edge of breakup amp or an already overdriven amp, this might be too much bass for you. Since I almost only play cleanish amps, so it's cleaning the edge of breakup, this usually adds a little more of the bass that I really like, really like. And it has a lot more gain than the other two. So I'm barely touching the gain. Let's hear it. I think there's a little difference. This has a different mid-range. I think the Gold Sounds is a little thinner, but it's basically the same thing. And everything that Russ Effects does is just amazing, just incredible. And I have to say the same thing about Janis. The MiA's Next is unbelievable. Everyone here in the studio that plays through one of my MiA's Next, because now I own 3, I convinced Janis to do the double one because I think it's a great addition to his lineup of pedals, and he was kind enough to offer me the version 1, the first of these. So this is V1. It's the first MiA's Next X double, which I really like. Everyone in the studio that played through one of my MiA's Next or one of Russ's Effects is blown away, because they are not very well-known brands, but they are super high-end quality brands. So I love them. With each one of this, you would be fine. The King of Tine is a collectible one, so it's a staple. It's here for more than 20 years, and it's incredible. I think sometimes it's a little too colorful. It has something in the low mids that doesn't work sometimes for me. The dual overdrive seems to not have that. The Gold Sounds seems to be a little clearer to me. Yeah, this says 400 or whatever, like this kind of frequency, while the overdrive, the dual overdrive, doesn't have it. Let's hear the cleanish boosts. So the clean is similar, is a little more similar. Let's hear them with both pedals engaged. Funny enough, I prefer both the MiA and the Gold Sounds to the King of Tone with both pedals engaged. The King of Tone sometimes sounds a little too compressed for me in live situations, but it depends. It really depends. Especially when I play abroad, I always use a King of Tone on my board, and when I play abroad, it kind of I get rental backlines, so it changes all the time. So sometimes it's the match between the pedal and the amp. But I think these two are really great alternatives and not very expensive pedals for the quality they have. It's super, super, super great. You can go greatly with either the MiA or the Gold Sounds. It's two spectacular pedals, and I really love it. Well, that's it. I hope this has been helpful to you. Please let me know in the comments which one you preferred, and if you have any other option, any other double pedal that you like. I also love although it's not a clone of the King of Tone or an inspired pedal of the King of Tone, Russ Effects has a great double distortion. I think it's how it's called. I have a video review of it here in the channel. You can watch it. It's a germanium, and I love how that pedal breaks up and cleans up with the volume knob. It's just a great overdrive, double overdrive pedal. Two different circuits on each side of the pedal. It's not two of the same like in here, and it's not inspired on a King of Tone, but I would use it in a similar situation. But let me know if you have any other double pedal that you like, and let's discuss it. Hope you liked it. You know, if you want to become a patron, you can, and you're helping the channel, and you can also contribute to the tip jar on PayPal. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you like what I'm doing here, please consider helping. At least subscribe it and leave the thumbs up. We'll see each other next week. Bye-bye.